I'm 27M, my girlfriend Emily, 25F, and I have been together a little over 2 years and living together for about a year in Chicago. Overall, things have been fine, I guess. Not perfect, but stable enough that I never seriously questioned the relationship until recently. For context, I work in IT and make pretty good money. Not insanely rich, but comfortable. I can pay bills, save a bit, not stress about groceries. Emily works in marketing at a smaller company, and she makes quite a bit less than me. From the beginning, I didn't really mind covering more expenses. It honestly just happened naturally. When we moved in together, I took over rent and utilities, and she said she'd help where she can. At the time, that sounded reasonable to me, and for a while, it actually worked. She'd sometimes grab groceries on her way home or pay for takeout when we ordered late at night, or bring coffee in the morning. Small things. But they felt like effort, you know? But over the last few months, something started to feel off. Not in a dramatic way, more like a slow buildup of small razdrazhajuчих momentiv, like grocery shopping. We usually go together after work, both tired, just trying to get it done. I grab the basics: chicken, eggs, rice, vegetables, stuff we actually need to cook meals. Emily fills the cart with snacks, desserts, expensive cheese, wine, candles sometimes, random self-care stuff. And every single time when we get to checkout, there's this silent expectation that I'm paying. No conversation, no, hey, want to split? Nothing. She just stands there, sometimes scrolling Instagram like we're not even both involved in this purchase. At first, I ignored it. I told myself it's not worth making a big deal out of. But it kept happening, and I started noticing it more and more. One time I tried to joke about it. Hey, you got this one? She smiled and said, ugh, I'm kind of broke right now. I'll get the next one, promise. I remember thinking, okay, fair, but then weeks passed, and that next one just never happened. There were other little things too, like she'd suggest going out to eat at places that weren't cheap, and I'd end up paying. Or she'd say, we should order something nice tonight. And again, I'd cover it. It wasn't even discussed anymore. It was just assumed. Then there was this trip situation. She really wanted to go to Denver for a weekend. I had just finished a stressful stretch at work. Late nights, tight deadlines, barely sleeping properly. I honestly just wanted to stay home, do nothing. Maybe play some games and reset. I told her, maybe we can do it later. I'm kind of exhausted. And she goes, half joking, but not really, come on, we need this. You make good money, why are you stressing so much? That sentence stuck with me way more than I expected. It wasn't loud or aggressive, just casual. Like my income automatically removes my right to feel tired or cautious about spending. I didn't argue then, but it started bothering me more and more after that. A few days later, I finally brought it up properly. Hey, can we talk about money for a second? I feel like I'm covering most things lately. She immediately got defensive. So now you're tracking everything I do? I said, no, I'm not tracking. I just feel like it's become expected, and that's what bothers me. She crossed her arms and said, I just thought that's how it works. The guy takes care of things. That honestly surprised me. She never framed it like that before. I told her, taking care of things doesn't mean I pay for literally everything. That turned into an argument, not screaming, but tense, passive-aggressive kind of fight. She said I've changed, that I used to be generous and didn't care about money. I said I still don't care about money that much. I just care about fairness and feeling respected. We never really resolved it, just kind of dropped the conversation. But then last week happened, I came home from work, tired as usual, and she was super excited, like actually waiting for me by the door. I have something to show you, she said. She pulls out a brand new iPhone, latest model, still in the box. I was like, wait, you bought that today? She goes, yeah. My old one was getting slow and annoying. I said, wasn't it like a year old? She shrugged. I need a good phone for work stuff. Okay, fine. Her money, her decision. But then later that same evening, we're sitting on the couch and she casually says, hey, can you cover rent this month? I kind of spent more than I expected. I actually laughed at first because I thought she was joking. Then I realized she wasn't. I said, wait, seriously? You just bought a new phone and now you can't pay rent? She sighed like I was being difficult. It's not a big deal. You make more anyway. That's when something in me snapped. I said, wasn't it like A year old? She shrugged. I need a good phone for work stuff. Okay, fine. Her money, her decision. But then later that same evening, we're sitting on the couch and she casually says, Hey, can you cover rent this month? I kind of spent more than I expected. I actually laughed at first because I thought she was joking. Then I realized she wasn't. I said, Wait, seriously? You just bought a new phone and now you can't pay rent? She sighed like I was being difficult. It's not a big deal. You make more anyway. That's when something in me snapped. I said, It is a big deal. Rent isn't optional. Why would you spend that much if you knew bills were coming? She rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. It's just 1 month. Then she added, God, you're being so cheap about this. That word, cheap, hit me way harder than I expected, because in my head, I've been doing the opposite of being cheap this entire time. So I said, all right. Then starting next month, we split everything 50-50, rent, groceries, all of it. Otherwise, I'm not okay with this. She didn't even hesitate, saying, Then maybe we shouldn't live together if you're like this. Since then, the atmosphere at home has been awful. We still live in the same apartment, but it doesn't feel like home right now. We barely talk. When we do, it's short and awkward, like coworkers who don't like each other. I keep replaying everything in my head. On one hand, I get it. I make more money. Maybe it makes sense for me to contribute more. I'm not against that idea at all. But on the other hand, I don't want to feel like my effort is invisible or automatically expected no matter what. And honestly, it's not even just about the money anymore. It's the attitude, the assumption that I'll just handle everything without even asking. The confusing part is that she's not a bad person. She's supportive in other ways. She cares about me. We have good moments together, which makes this feel less black and white. But now I'm starting to wonder if this is a deeper issue about values and expectations. Am I being unreasonable asking for 50-50? Should I just accept paying more because I earn more? Or am I ignoring a red flag here I genuinely don't know anymore? Am I wrong?